Did you get it? Did you get it? Aye. All right. So we are going to look at Johnny Geaudreau. So I talked about Leon Draisaitl this morning, and I thought, while I'm in this Alberta vein, I want to talk about Johnny Geaudreau as well, because Johnny Geaudreau right now is a very interesting player in terms of it feels like he's at kind of a crossroads in his career. So he's drafted 104th overall in 2011. He slipped in said draft because of his size, and that was always the comment was, is he going to be able to withstand the rigors of an 82-game schedule in the National Hockey League? It was a conversation that was had many, many times before he came up. He came up in 2013, 2014, played the one game, got the one goal, all set. Goal a game, rest of his... No. 2014, 2015 as a rookie, 80 games played, 24 goals, 40 assists, 64 points. He put the concern over whether or not he was going to be able to play in the rearview mirror pretty darn quickly. And then in the playoffs, he plays 11 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. The Flames knocked out the Vancouver Canucks in the first round that year. Johnny Geaudreau, prominent player for that little run. Things look great for Calgary. Now, 2015-2016, 79 games played, 30 goals, 48 assists, 78 points, which ranked 6th in the National Hockey League in points, and they missed the playoffs that year. So he takes that next step offensively. The team kind of falls back a little, but he's still really early in his career, so you can't really say a whole lot about whether or not Johnny Hockey's any part of an issue with Calgary. Right? Okay, so 2016-2017, kind of a big year for him, 72 games, 18 goals, 43 assists, 61 points. The points are down, but he only records 4 penalty minutes, which gets him the Lady Byng Trophy, so he is the most gentlemanly player in the NHL. They go back to the playoffs in a 4-game sweep they suffered, which was just one of the most lopsided sweeps. Now, the games were relatively close, but it just felt unfair. It just felt unfair with them against the Ducks. 4 games, 2 points, both assists. So the narrative that we hear out there every now and then about Johnny Geaudreau and his playoff acumen starts here. And it's odd because it was fine in 2015, but in 2017, in a series where the team's greatly overmatched, if you're the big star player, some of the blame for that loss will go on to you. Regardless of what else is going on, it will still come on to you. 2017-2018, 80 games played, 24 goals, 60 assists. That's 7th in the National Hockey League that year, and 84 points. The team misses the playoffs. So missing the playoffs, and again, it's an up and down team, the Calgary Flames. And it's a pattern that they kind of continued this year as well, so we'll come back to that. Johnny Hockey, pretty good player. 24 goals, not bad. 84 points, new career high. He went up to that next level last season, 2018-2019. 82 games played, 36 goals, 63 assists, which is 9th in the NHL that season. 99 points, which is 7th in the NHL that season. And just take a minute to think about that. 2016, he had 78 points, which was 6th overall. 2019, he had 99 points, which was 7th overall. Scoring definitely up league-wide. 5 games against the Colorado Avalanche last spring and 1 point. A lonely assist. And this is where we really get into that conversation about maybe Johnny Hockey's not made for playoff hockey. Maybe he doesn't want it bad enough. Maybe he's so distracted by his stardom and off-ice stuff that he's just not intense enough for playoffs. Maybe he's not built for it. And this is where you get the odd rumor of maybe the Flames, when they look at things, maybe they want to change things up. Maybe Gaudreau is part of what they change. Now, what's interesting is, this season, 70 games played, 18 goals, 40 assists, 58 points. Totals drop across the board. He's nowhere near the top 10 in scoring on pretty much any level right now. They dropped down to the kind of totals he was putting up, a little bit better than actually 2 less games, 3 less points, a little bit below what he was putting up in 2016, 2017. And so it's easy to look at Gaudreau right now and say, well, see, that's it. He's done. What's interesting is the Flames, a team who have played better on the road than at home, Gaudreau's not part of that. Johnny Geaudreau, 33 games at home this season, 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points. On the road, 37 games played, 5 goals, 20 assists, and 25 points. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. Only 5 goals on the road and 13 at home. So he is struggling on the road this season to put up points. And his overall numbers definitely sagged this season. His pre-All-Star and post-All-Star numbers are also interesting. Before the All-Star break, 50 games played, 13 goals, 25 assists, 38 points. After the All-Star break, 20 games played, 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points. So his points per game go up. Goals per game didn't, but he's getting more assists. So his line mates are getting better, and the overall way that the Flames were playing seemed to be kind of coming into line. By that progression, you would think over 82 games, he would have ended up with probably 70, 71 points maybe 69, but that would put him still well below the last 2 seasons in the NHL. The question we have with Johnny Geaudreau, there's a couple of them really. 99 points, was that his career? Is that his peak, his career year? People get mad when I say career year, but most players in their career will have that one year where their totals are much higher than the others. And is that what it was? Or the 99-point Johnny Geaudreau from last season, is that who he really is, and this year is the aberration? This is the year that he's just not had it going on, nagging injury stuff maybe that we don't know about, and he just got off to a bad start. Whatever it is, right? These things can happen. So he's played 464 games in his career to this point, 151 goals, 294 assists, 445 points. Johnny Hockey, very good career. Now in the playoffs, 20 games played in total, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. The definition of how his career will be remembered could very well end up being his playoff record. If the Flames, so let's assume there's a 2020 playoffs, the Flames go out in round 1 again. It's going to reflect on him. That would be 3 straight first-round losses for the Flames. If they miss the playoffs, well, that would make it so that over the last 5 years, they've been out in the first round twice, and they missed the playoffs 3 times. So the pressure's on Johnny Geaudreau to show what he can do. And it's on him more than it is on Monahan or Lindholm or even, Giordano, who's a veteran, and we all know how good he is. It's really on Johnny Hockey. Now, 2018-2019, he was 5th in the league in game-winning goals with 8. This year, not top 10. He's Rookie of the Month in 2014-2015 in both the months of December and March. Monthly 3 stars in the NHL, 2015-2016, he was 1st for the month of December. 2018-2019, he was 2nd for the month of December and 1st for the month of January. No 3-star selections this year monthly. Did he get there weekly? Not this year. Weekly 3 stars, 2014-2015. December 29th, he was 1st. Then almost a year to the day later, 2015-2016, December 28th, he's 1st again. So he's 1st star of the year. It'd be fun if it continued like that, but sadly it doesn't. 2016-2017, February 27th, he is 3rd. 2017-2018, January 15th, he's 1st. February 12th, he's 2nd. So that's the first season he had twice been a star of the week. And then last season, December 10th of 2018, he's the 3rd star of the week. January 7th of 2019, he was the 1st star of the week. And it was a tremendous run by the Flames to get to 1st in the West, only to lose in the first round of Colorado Avalanche in what was seen as a stunning upset. Because going into that series, the Colorado Avalanche were a team that had finished with fewer points during the regular season than Montreal, who missed in the East in 2019, and they were playing well going into the playoffs, but their overall record was poor, and they'd had this really large slump. And so for the Flames, it was seen that they should be able to beat Colorado. It might take a little bit for them to do it, but they should be able to do it. And when they didn't, and not only that they didn't, but once Colorado got their momentum rolling, Calgary had no answer. Some of that blame falls onto Johnny Geaudreau. Because I get asked a lot, so the reason I'm going with Gaudreau after Draisaitl is because we can all agree Draisaitl is a superstar. He is absolutely right now rewriting the record books, clearly for anybody born in Germany, and he is one of the best star players in the league. I'm not sure what Johnny Geaudreau is right now. Johnny Geaudreau, there's separate, very, very disparate numbers with Gaudreau, whether it's home and away, before and after the All-Star. And when you look at seasons, there isn't really a pattern here. 64, 78, 61, 84, 99, 58. Sounds like a combination to me. It doesn't sound like, point totals. And the progression, and now he's 26, I believe 26 years of age. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Johnny Geaudreau is a superstar player. I know he has a good cap hit. I know there's no reason to trade him if you're the Flames because of his cap hit and because he can bounce back into, I would say, the 90-point range. I don't know about 99 or 100, but he can bounce back into the 90-point range. The dynamic with the Flames last year, a lot of it was that line with Monahan and Lindholm. And then this year, it just wasn't there. And you get the feeling that maybe all three of them fed on each other and it got him to that career high. Maybe they can get there again. But what the Flames do from here will be very interesting. Not any conversation on trading Gaudreau. I don't see that happening. But who you put him with, how you make him flourish. How does it work out under Jeff Ward? What do you do with the coach in the offseason? Who do you bring in? Who might be able to get the best out of Johnny Hockey? Because there's a potential for 40 goals. There's a potential for 100 points. And it's about helping him reach that potential. So I guess the question I have is to people watching this video. Is Johnny Geaudreau a legit superstar player who's going to be remembered in the same vein as superstar players of this generation? And it's up to you to decide what is and isn't a superstar. And it's a really interesting conversation to have. It's sort of like when you have the conversation of who is and isn't a Hall of Famer. And people will mention 50 or 60 players and go, oh yeah, these guys all belong in the Hall. And it's like, they can't all get in because there's certain criteria. And then there's there's the fact that only a certain number of players can go in every year. But in terms of superstar players, where does Gaudreau rank? And I don't have an answer to that because I don't know whether to rank him based on the overall average of his numbers or just look at the player he is this year and say, this is who Gaudreau is. A player who's a little bit below a point a game, can be excellent for long stretches, and sometimes not as much. He is a smaller player, so the physical game, probably not. And so you're just getting that pure skill. And what is that worth? What do you need to surround him with? Picking up Lucic seemed to have helped the Flames on some level this year. Trading out James Neal, that's a whole other conversation for another time. But really, in all honesty, Johnny Geaudreau is a very interesting and divisive character among National Hockey League players right now. Because again, there are going to be Flames fans who say, yeah, he can hit 100 points. He should have had it last year. He missed it by 1 point. And there are others who are going to say that 99-point season could be the outlier. 84 points might be his high watermark from here. He's a point-a-game guy, good guy, but is he a player who leads you to Stanley Cup glory at some point? Because that's really where Flames fans want to end up, is back where they were in 1989. So let me know what you guys think. Johnny Geaudreau's standing among players in the NHL. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.